Okay, so we are sitting up here at the LTVA shed. My allergies have just run amok. And speaking of running amok, how's the last few days been, Frugal?
Running amok?
Why have we been crazy for the last few days? Well, y'all stay tuned, you'll find out. Jen and I went and met Bob and Linda up at the booth, and it is a privilege to have you in camp today, sir.
Well, thank you.
You too, Linda.
Bye on.
So obviously the surprise was, and the reason we had been so busy in camp was getting things ready for Bob to come out and do interviews and tours with me and Frugal RV Gal. My first interview and tour with Bob was in 2016, and I'm going to talk more about our history in a moment, but it really was good to see him. So much has changed from that first interview. It was also fun to see Jana, Frugal RV Gal, share her story and give Bob a tour of Penny, her rig. They're staging. Jana is going to be interviewed and her tour first. Frugal RV Gal. Doesn't Penny look great?
Okay, step.
So good to see Cody.
Her mic is louder than yours.
Yeah, see, I moved mine all the way down here.
Come on, baby. I do a lot of cooking videos and Dutch oven cooking and just traveling around the country.
And how long have you been out on the road?
I know it.
Every state. Every state has something. Nice. And that's almost always.
I'm gonna get my dog to come inside. And he went running to Linda for protection. He's like, save me, I don't want to go inside. Watch for that video and tour with Frugal RV Gal coming up on Bob's channel, Cheap RV Living, in just a few months. Next was my turn, and I want to mention here that while we were doing my tour, Frugal RV Gal fixed us a great lunch. We were able to sit and visit for a while after we finished all the shooting for the day, and we had beef taco soup. It was perfect for a cold and windy day. Thank you, Jana.
Sound check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sound check.
Sound check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sound check.
I got a big voice. I have to tone it down usually.
Usually we okay.
Banned it.
And let's turn this on during y'all.
I know.
Zoomy, zoomy,
Zoomy zoomies. Yes.
Okay, and we're rolling for questions.
Oh, so I had questions, as you heard.
Yes.
Say it again. Today we're going to meet one of my old friends. I mean, a dear old friend.
Yes.
Debra Dickinson. Hi, Deb.
Hi, sweetheart.
Deborah, good to see you again.
Good to be here. Glad to be with you again. We haven't been on video together in a long time.
Very long time. Yeah, I went up back in the very beginning of when I was on YouTube.
Yes.
And so when did we first meet?
2015. My friend Glenn said, I've got a friend I want you to go camp with, because he was a little worried about me. I was a little bit, I think you said you didn't get much greener when I was at the time. And he said, I want you to go camp with my friend Bob, stay with him, and as long as he'll let you, and do what he tells you to do and learn. And it was one of the biggest blessings of my life.
I love it. And for me as well, at least equally as much for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what had led you to the situation where you really kind of needed to leave in the van?
Well, at the time, my my neurosurgeon at the time had told me and my trustee that I might see 2016, but I probably wouldn't know it. And
Let's go back a step before that.
Okay.
Why did you need a neurosurgeon?
I have, you'll have to kind of lead me through. I have a traumatic brain injury.
everyone, welcome back to my next video. We're here to take a tour with Deb.
Yeah.
Hi, Debra. Hi, Debra.
Hi, sweetheart.
And Debra and I have known each other for since 2015.
Yeah, going on a few years now.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. And we just finished an interview where we heard Debra's story, and I really hope you'll go watch that. It's so inspirational and important. But now we're going to go inside and take a look around.
At my new, to me, well, 3 years now, home.
So let's go ahead and go on in.
Cody jumped right in my rig with Bob, but Bandit and Sammy went with Jana to her rig while she fixed us all lunch. That seemed like old times because Cody used to hang out in my van all the time when I traveled with Bob in 2015 and 2016. Again, before he was the Bob. If you read my book, How Being a Nomad Saved My Life, you'll learn more about how I got on the road and how it was that I came to camp with Bob back in 2015. Of course, you'll also hear part of that story when these videos air on Cheap RV Living. And I have shared it on my channel back in 2016 when I lived in my van with my dogs, Nani and Bentley. You can watch that video and their tribute videos from the links I list in the description below. My life out here on the road has had several reiterations. I've listed a ton of links to videos for you to enjoy in the description below from everything I talk about today. While you're at it, please be sure you're subscribed to my channel and tap the bell for notifications. Thumbs up help, and please be sure to leave me a comment. I love hearing from my wonderful viewers. Some of what I'm about to share may be things a lot of you already know, but it might not be. I have a lot of new people on my channel, and Bob coming out to our camp wasn't just an interview and a tour for Cheap RV Living, at least to me. For me, because I've known Bob 9 years, it represented a lot more than that. For example, again, from my story in How Being a Nomad Saved My Life, in 2015, I thought I came out here to die. My goal was to see as much of this beautiful country of ours as I could for as long as I could. That's what the doctors told me, and I had no reason to think otherwise. That was the year I met Bob. We traveled together for several months, and he helped me pick out my first heater and one-burner stove. He also built a bed in my van for me. And I got my first solar panel from Will, who was camped with us for the pre-RTR. In 2016, I finally realized a dream come true. Way before I got on the road, while I was in TBI rehab, I was assigned a riding coach, Angelique Giron. She has since become a lifelong bestie. In 2016, I published a very thin paperback of 9 short stories that was started while I was in TBI rehab. It's tiny but mighty and represents everything for me. It was my very first book. 2016 was a big year. Bob filmed my first interview and tours in the foothills of Ehrenberg, but he didn't publish those videos until 2017. Also in 2016, Bob did a video with me showing how I used a tarp to create a makeshift shower in my van. He aired that video twice in 2017 under different titles to highlight different tools for van life. Then in 2021, it was listed in his video of the best bathrooms while living in a van. In 2017, I lost my 2 fur babies, Nani and Bentley. That same year, I also co-created the YouTube channel, To Meander, with Robert Witham. Robert is now married to my good friend Melanie, and I'm over the moon happy for them. I was beginning to travel more than I ever thought possible. I'm happy to say that I've now been from coast to coast and border to border, and that's not bad for someone who wasn't even supposed to see 2016. I love my life. In 2017, several of us camped with Bob in Leadville, Colorado, and I did an interview with him you can watch on my channel. That's where the term, "it doesn't get any greener," comes from. Don't forget to check out the links below so that you can see the videos that I'm talking about. That same year, a few of us camped in Moab. One day, my good friend Curtis took us on a 4-wheel drive adventure high in the mountains and narrow passes of Utah. Bob and I were in the back seat of Curtis's truck, and from the looks of this photo, I think I enjoyed the hairy adventure much more than Bob. In October of 2017, Bob posted a video he shot the previous year, 2016, where we tested water pumps while bathing my sweet baby boy Bentley. Since I had just lost both my dogs that year, that video was extra special for me. Thank you, Bob. In 2018, my doctor put me on Aricept, and I began thinking that maybe I didn't come out here to die after all, because I was able to do more than I ever thought possible. Maybe I was going to make it. After all, at this point, I had already made it 2 years longer than they predicted. And I published my second book. It's called The Journey Begins. It's another collection of short stories, but these are 5 stories that actually, as you can see, they're not so short. And people ask me all the time to write full books on each story that's in here because they love the characters so much. It was so well received that I felt encouraged to keep writing. In 2019, thanks to Bob and Sue Ann, I was blessed to be an extra on the set of Nomadland. If you squint and look hard enough while you're watching it, you can see me in the movie 5 times. I have a few videos on my channel of behind-the-scenes stuff, so look for those links below too. My friends Linda May and Charlene Swanky were main characters in the movie. Jessica Bruder, who wrote the book, sent me this photo from the day they got outfitted and dressed up for the Academy Awards. It was such fun to see them on stage. I treasure my Nomad license plate that Swanky signed and sent me. In the book that I showed you before, How Being a Nomad Saved My Life, Linda May wrote a sweet foreword in this book. And my primary care doctor and my trustee wrote the other 2 forewords that are in it. I'm blessed by a lot of wonderful people in my life. 2019 was also the year I got my baby boy Bandit. He is such a sweetheart, and you guys be sure and check out his story on my channel. He's just a miracle. 2019 was a year of many firsts. It was the first time I spoke at the RTR. It was also the first time I had risked going dancing and being around loud music since my brain surgery. I wore my earplugs and my headset. My friend Dan escorted me to dance night at the Van Build, and I've been dancing ever since. Thank you, Dan. In 2020, we know the world changed for all of us. Everything changed. While in solitude with my dear friends Chuck and Letty, I published my 3rd book, A Pigeon Story. It is about the rise and fall of humans after a decimation, such as the pandemic, and how the animals handle it. It's written from the animals' perspective, but has lessons in it for all. After canceling my 2020 epic road trip, I sold my van, fancy free, to Robert. He and Melanie now pull a trailer with it. At the same time, my friends Gina and Jeff sold me their Class C that summer, and I named her Freebird. Then at the end of the year, Freebird died. In January of 2021, while stranded in my dead rig, I joined Joni and Sue Ann for a panel on camping etiquette for the virtual RTR. Then, thanks to the mechanical genius of a friend of mine, Curtis, the same one that I was on the 4x drive in Moab, and assisted by Randy, Freebird was resurrected as Phoenix. I had already made arrangements to sell her as scrap after 5 mechanics told me that she couldn't be fixed. That was a glorious day, and there's a great video on that in the links below. But with newfound confidence for me and Phoenix and Bandit, I went to camp with my friends, and I've never looked back, you guys. I vowed to start living life as though I'm going to live life large and thrive. After leaving my friends in Quartzsite that spring, I traveled with my friend Joan for a while and then camped on my own in the Northwest, exploring the quiet and enjoying remote boondocking all summer. I've been traveling with Frugal RV Gal since September of 2021. My memoir, How Being a Nomad Saved My Life, was published actually that year in October. Putting myself out there and sharing from the private places of my heart left me raw and vulnerable. But if my story helps even just one person, then it was worth it. In 2022, I enjoyed life in my travels with Frugal. We went fishing. We did a lot of stuff, but the fishing was another activity that I thought I would never get to do again. I can't tell you how happy it makes me, and I fish every chance I get. With a different mindset, I also published the first book in my KOKO trilogy, and I began writing the next 2 books. In 2023, Frugal and I spoke at the RTR, and I had the privilege of giving a signed copy of my book to Bob. I published 3 books in 2023, including the last 2 books in the trilogy, and a cookbook that has 15 great cooks that contributed to it. 4, not me, 4 of the recipes are from Frugal RV Gal. And thanks to my friend Joan showing me how to do trade shows, I now hold at least 6 book signing events each winter, as well as a few more throughout the year as I travel. Be sure to check out my website for all my events. I'll be at the Tyson Wells Cellorama January 19th through 28th, Row J, Booth 22. Joan will be selling her fabulous dots, mandala painted rocks and home decor in the booth next to me. That's across from the Big Tent event in Quartzsite. If you're in the area, I hope you'll come out and help me celebrate all of this that I'm sharing with you today. In 2024, I will publish 3 more books, so be sure to follow my author page on Amazon so that you get notified of sales and new releases. This coming year, I will also continue my travels with Frugal and our dogs Sammy, Joe, and Bandit. Who knows what we will get into. I just started my 10th book, you guys, and Bob just came out to do a follow-up interview and tour with me. Sometimes this life can be hard, but mostly I can't believe how blessed I am, and I mean it when I say that it really did save my life. So I hope you can see that Bob coming to camp, it was far more for me than just getting featured on Cheap RV Living or getting interviewed by the Bob Wells and being able to show people my home. It was a day with an old friend that plays a huge part in this wonderful life I get to enjoy. For me, it was a full circle of being a nomad, of remembering how far I've come, remembering those who have been with me every step of the way and have lifted me up, and even at times carried me through. During our lunch, Bob asked if I still have TBI symptoms like I used to. And if you guys have been following my channel very long, you know that I do. They're just not as frequent, and I'm able to do more in between. From time to time, I'm bedridden, I get vertigo, nosebleeds, ear bleeds, and I'm down for the count. That's when I stay out in nature and recover. I don't do the hospital and doctor scene anymore. I refuse to. If a person like me can come out here and end up thriving, then I hope you find something in this video that tells you that you can too. This might not be the life for you. It's not for everyone, and it's not always easy. But I'm living proof that no matter your circumstances, and no matter where you end up with whatever life throws at you, don't ever, ever give up. I'll see you down the road, everybody. Keep on keeping on, no matter what, one day at a time.